Hi. It's the two of us today. And now the puppies think there's someone at the door. Hello, hooray, it's Thursday. It's been a long Thursday. It's now absolutely pouring. Oh, they're back. Maeve's just popping in to say hello. And then she's going to get that out of her system and off she goes.
Am I really?
I hope.
Maybe. I don't know yet.
Yeah. Bye-bye, Mavelicious. We love you. Goodbye. All righty. So let's see. Today is Thursday and late in the afternoon. So I've got lights on and I've got everything happening. So there is going to be a little bit of shadow, but that's okay. So I'm looking at bundles. Stampin' Up have currently got a special underway and they've got all of their bundles from the annual catalogue and some of the bundles from the online exclusives have got an extra 10% off. So normally we're used to bundles having 10% off at the best of times, but at the moment for this month only we've got an extra 10% off. So it's like a bit like double dipping, especially if you add them to your cart for when you get a joining kit, because you are definitely double dipping. Okay, so I'm playing with the Magnolia Mood bundle. It is an online exclusive. Okay, it's a cling stamp set, so it's red rubber. I've seen lots of pretty things made with it. You'll notice I've popped a green dot on it. The green dot is there to tell me that it's an online exclusive. It's just one of those things that I do just to make sure that I know what's going on. So it comes with a red rubber stamp set that's got 7 stamps in it, and this here is the die bundle. Now, the dies. So look at the dies. Aren't they just divine? For want of a better word, there's this nice. I want to call it like a filigree or a like a liner type of outlined one, and then there's the ones that will cut out our stamped images. So I'm going to play with this. I've got some of my blends here on the table. I've got some ink on the table, and I'm going to be using Mossy Meadow. So, all right. Oh, it's very bright. Okay, let me see if we can tone down some of the brightness. That child's gone, so probably not. But we'll see how we go. The Magnolia Mood stamp has sentiments. It also has images. They're a bit like a line drawing, for want of a better way of putting it, and they're very realistic. And what I thought I'd do with them is I used to have a very, I used to really love paper towel. Paper towel is where you layer things up and down, like from the back, you layer things up so that it gives it shape. I really loved paper towel. It's one of the many crafts that I've tried along the way. And I actually think that this stamp set will let us do a little bit of that. We have had a previous Magnolia bundle that was the same, and it would let us do some layering. So I'm going to have a bit of a play with it. So I've also got my Take Your Pick tool, which is a favourite of mine at the best of times. I'm sorry, I've got a bit of a snotty nose thing happening here. So it's lucky you're not in person. All right, sorry, excuse me. I've got, you take me to the Take My Pick tool. It's got some accessories, and some of them here are really quite good fun. So we're going to be using today. There's actually these ones are called the crafter tips. It's got a hook. So for those people that've got a Cricut or the like, whoops, wrong button, wrong one. Look at this little hook. Can you see that? That's a tool, isn't it, man? So it's like a weeding tool. And then that's the 2 different pokey tools. That's better. So you can see one's quite fine in comparison to the other one. All right. So then there's a knife, and there's also a perforating edge. So you could actually have quite a bit of fun about that. And that one's, you can release the lock on it just by pulling that back, and then you've got your blade here. Okay. but we're going to use the knife tip, and the knife tip actually goes in the opposite end. All right, so normally we take these bits out at this end, but both the knife and the other one go in the end that we put our putty. All right, so I'm going to just add this to it because I'll need my blade. I use these blades, the scalpels from work, quite frequently because they're really sharp, but they've only got a funny little end, and it's not precision, but it's as sharp as they come. Because we just dispose of these at work, so I'd rather bring them home and use them. And one of the good things I use them for is when my glue is empty, if I'm doing a scrapbook page, these are disposable, and I've got a sharps bin here that I just pop them in, because you shouldn't put them in the garbage bin. They have a little ruler on them. I cut around the edge here of my glue, and then what I'll do is I'll actually scoop it out of the glue. I just use the back end of this, and then I can throw this away because this glue gets everywhere otherwise. But it means that I can get it all out of there. So without further ado, I don't believe I've put this stamp set together. So let me show you putting a stamp set together. Okay, do I bring a big enough block to the table? Oh, potentially not. So let me just grab the next size up block. This here's an E. So all the blocks come in all different sizes, but this one's an E. And E is your friend. It's big enough that it's going to hold the biggest image on here, which happens to be this one. And I'm going to need, potentially will need this one. And I want the leaf. I also want, so our sentiments are happy birthday, thank you for being you. Just a note to let you know that you are loved. You know what? I'm going to do that one. Actually, thank you for being you. I belong to a Stampin' Up team. We're called the Insomniacs. My team's called the Unique Crafters because we're quite unique. But this month, we're doing a team challenge. Well, not a team challenge, a team swap. So I have got to send a card that I make to someone else. So I have picked, this is the card that's going to get sent. All right. And we literally commented on a team post on our team page that said I'm in, and whoever was above us in that post, that's who we're sending our card to. So I don't know if you just saw what I did. I bent the folders over a little bit, or the edges over a little bit, and then I peeled that off and I stuck that onto my block. So it's stuck on the side that would normally get stuck to the block. This is our stamp. You can keep these if you want because they're really good for doing some masking with, but I have a tendency to throw them away, just saying. And then it's a matter of, I have to stand up for this. And I'm sorry, you're going to get to see my head, if not in the shadow. And you just stand over it, and you'll find it will line up in key areas. Push it down, and there you go. It is perfectly attached to my block. Now, I actually want to leave that on that block. So we'll do the others on the other block. Take the back off it. Where's my little leaf? I just get it. Don't need that bigger block for that. Okay. So bring my paper back in. Where it's split, just make it so that you can get at your, in this case, leaf. Okay, so I've got my little taggy bits, pull them off. Sorry, excuse my sniveling. Make sure that your stamp is the right way up. You will need to lean over it. Sorry about the top of my head if you can see it, which I don't think you can. Hold your tongue in the right position. So talking's really bad while doing that. And that one there's on. See? Perfect. And this one, oops, I forgot I need a sentiment one. This one here. Now I also keep this piece of paper in with my stamp set, and the reason I do that is because if we've had a particularly warm day, I have noticed that the stamps will stick to the case, and they can sometimes be a little bit hard to get off the case. So if I pop that in my case and then I stick this like on top of it, so stamp set in, these will go in upside down, and then I'll stick that on top, they're not going to stick to this part of the stamp case. Okay. And one more. I should have had this bit done, ready. I just had to do one, but that's okay. Please forgive. Oh, I don't need the big one. I need this one. Okay, and all right. Thank you for being you. Make sure you get it up the right way. Pop that one on there. Perfect. Okay, so that's all done. Excuse me. Okay. Now, I brought a couple of colours over with me. I've got my Mossy Meadow because my Mossy Meadow is going to be my card base. And I'm actually thinking I probably should have bought more basic white over because of what I want to do. Right, so I'll just prepare my card base. I've got my envelope here, basic white envelope as well. I've got a card inside. And then I only bought one other piece, but I need more than one. So here's one I prepared earlier. This is basic white thick. There's a piece left over from last week. That'll do me. Nobody said that you need to throw away any of your scraps. You just need to make sure that they're not messy on the other side. That one's thick. That one's not going to work. Okay, so I've got a spare piece of Mossy Meadow, for which I'm going to cut. So we'll do some cutting out first. Actually, no, we won't. We'll stamp first because then I can cut all in one go. Don't you just love this, thinking on the hop? I bought over Pebble Path, but I also bought over grey granite because initially I thought I would like to cut it out in grey granite. Oh, hi, Glenda. Yeah, it makes it so much easier, doesn't it? So we'll just stamp this, cross everything it works, which it will. But I'm thinking it might be too dark, which was what I thought might have been the case. So let's try it in grey granite. Hi, Lowell, how you going? Okay, and I'm going to have to grab another piece of basic white if I don't have a kid come out and annoy me shortly. So this one here is Smoky Slate. Just checking. No, this one's grey granite. What am I talking about? Smoky Slate, I already thought no, not that one. Okay, so we're going to go here. That's the colour I want. Okay, so you can see they're quite remarkably different. All right. Yeah, it needs to be labelled on the inside. It does. I've got I've got my little label in black and white on the outside. Had to make some of them myself. All right. So this one's a bit too dark and the backside's messy for that. So I'm just going to grab another piece of basic white. I'd say here's some I prepared earlier, but I didn't. So, because what I want to do is that's where my piece is going to be. Actually, no, it's not. We'll turn that over. I wasn't thinking when I did that. Actually, no, yeah, I'll turn that over. I wasn't thinking when I did that. Two sides to every piece of cardstock. Okay. So, last week we did layering up. We're also going to be layering up today. I've got my dimensionals handy. I've got all of my other pieces handy. I've got my Mossy Meadow. I've got quite a few things handy. This piece I'm going to use to cut out. So we'll do, when you're doing anything that needs layers, you need multiple layers. So we need one. We'll potentially need two. And I'm going to need some extra leaves. So with this flower, you could actually get 1, 2, 3, probably 4 layers. Okay, so just something to think about. And I might do another one just in case. All right. So when it comes to paper towel, it's layer upon layer upon layer, but you build it up from the back end. And one thing I really love about our stamps is that because they're stamps and you're not restricted with how many images you've got, you can just, if you need another one, you just stamp another image. Okay. What I am going to do though is I'm going to cut them up because I don't want to send them through. I've still got my dodgy old plates. I will get new plates, I promise. But I don't want to send them all through at once because it will actually, the plates are so dodgy now that they're going to mark that paper. But that's okay. So we'll just cut these guys out. So that's how I keep my plates semi-flat. I usually don't replace them until they're broken, to tell you the honest truth. Where's the dies? If you could see my desk, you'd be mortified. Actually, I think there's a few of you here that would actually know exactly what it looks like, if I do say so myself. It's pretty, how's your father, let me say. Okay, so we'll cut these out. Just lining it up, lines up quite nicely around the edge, the outer edge. If you've got some washi tape handy, it will be your friend and hold it nice and still for you, especially if you're using more than 2 dies or more than one die, so 2 dies or more. All right, so I'm just sticking these 2 down because I want to make sure, I don't want it to cut too poorly. Because I'd rather only have to cut once. Okay. A bit wobbly, sorry. Okay. Oh, very wobbly. Yeah, I'm sure yours is worse actually, Cheryl. You've been really busy lately. Oh, they're falling everywhere here. You've been making heaps and heaps, so Oh, that cut out perfectly. That's beautiful. All right, so let's cut this other leaf. Take this one off. Oopsie. Gotta just hold my tongue right there. I'll have this one. And I'll pop this one here on. It's funny, I was about to press go on the phone, on the camera, and I thought, I haven't seen Mum all day. What's the bet? She comes over as soon as I turn the video on. And I had the music going, and I was just about to press start stream, and the phone rang. And it was Mum saying, I thought I might come over. Hi, Pauline, how are you going? We're playing with the cut and emboss machines. Hope you didn't buy it last week. Cut and emboss machine this week's an extra 10% off. Did you notice? So I was thinking about you when I saw that special come up, and I thought, oh, I know somebody that needs one of these. Now's the time to get it, let me say. So not only is if you missed last week's live, I was talking about the advantages of having a cut and emboss machine. One thing, the best one being that it embosses, and we've got so many fabulous embossing folders, of which I haven't brought one over to the table with me today, but that's okay. I don't really need it today. So but the cut and emboss machine is also included in the bundles, the bundle sale. So all the dies, it's dies and stamp bundles. So because it's dies and stamp bundles, to help support that sale, the cut and emboss machines are also 10% off. So if you have one of these on your wish list, and they're not the cheapest tool, but they're one of the greater tools. The big cut and emboss machine comes with everything that you need to do both cutting and embossing, including embossing with our 3D folders. So it used to be that we had to buy, get it before the end of the month, Pauline. It used to be that you had to buy the extra, what's it called? The extra plate for cutting out, for the 3D folders. You have to buy it separately. But with this cut and emboss machine, it actually comes with it. So just trying to find something. There it is. All right. So I've cut out numerous. Sorry, excuse me. I've cut out numerous magnolias. But what I also want to cut out is some of these. I want to cut these out to show you as well. So far, I'm not sure if I'm going to use them, but I'm still going to cut them out anyway. Let's have some of this one. I really like that one. So we'll just bring that back in. Oh my gosh, my desk is such a mess. Note to self, job for later, clean the desk. Okay, so I'm going to cut out these because I think that I will use at least some of them, if not all of them, on this card for what I'm planning. So I'll just make sure I've got it all on there. So you'll notice that, I'm not sure if you've noticed, there's actually a beveled edge on here. So you want to make sure that you miss the beveled edge. The beveled edge actually comes in handy for a few different techniques that you can do, especially like if you're only partially wanting to partially emboss something or partially cut something, you can use that beveled edge to your advantage. So because it doesn't actually emboss or cut if the two beveled edges against each other under those bits, just because there's that, it gives them space. So whereas our previous ones didn't have that. Now, I could have brought that over to the table to show you as well. If it doesn't cut all the way through, which this one hasn't, I'm going to have to put it back through. So, but I'll just push these out. In, out, in, out. Okay, let's see. If it doesn't cut all the way through, you will have to put it back through. I sometimes change the direction of it, but I think it was because I had it too close to that edge that I was talking about. So you can just wiggle it into space. Might do them, nah, we'll do them together. I'm feeling brave. It's sort of stuck on it. Now, because it was at the edge before, it didn't cut properly, so we'll go back. We'll come back again. There she is. It's all out now. I wonder how good I put it back on. Come on, out you come. All right. I think I'm going to have to run that bit. Yeah. I flattened my piece of paper out. So what I'm going to have to do, so it hasn't cut properly. Now that can be for a number of reasons. I could have an imperfection in my dodgy plates, and it's just going to need to go through in a different spot. So this time I'm actually going to put it up this way. And I'm going to send it through on a different angle. Okay. You know what? Let's just cut another one. Make sure you take, if you're going to cut another one, make sure you take all these little bits out. There is a die brush. It happens to be in a drawer on the other side of the road. Other side of the room. So I will be I'm not going to go and grab it. I'll just do it again. So we've got a die brush as well that fits onto the Take Your Pick tool. So when I was talking about all those accessories. Okay, let's see. All right. And this time we have cut the whole lot out. Okay. All right. So we'll just poke it all out. The dry brush is really handy because you just literally go run along with the die brush and everything just falls out. So there's little holes, not only where the filigree section is or the skeleton section, but that pushes out all of the solid pieces as well. So it means that you can sometimes, you know, last time I couldn't get it all out. Now it's stuck in there. All right. The die brush pushes it out. Okay, let me just, no, it doesn't want to play yet. Come on. Gotcha. How pretty is this piece? Look at that. Okay, so we've got a whole heap of little lines. There's some places where there's actual holes. So these pits all pop out. Come on. All right. There's little holes in here that will pop out. I don't need to pop these out because you won't see those bits, but like it's just so pretty. All right, so I'll only pull apart the bits I need to pull apart. So I've got my piece on that I'm going to use as my bottom layer. If I wanted to, which is what I was tempted to do, I was going to put this underneath, but we'll see how we go first. So my leaves, I'm going to colour in my leaves. And I've got that leaf, and I've got that leaf, and I've got these ones. So what I want to do is work out what, if that's my bottom layer, yep, you can watch. Hi, Gemma. How you going? So we've got a piercing mat. This also doubles up as a cutting platform. All right. I have to get used to holding it. My leaves are going to be a bottom layer. And when I look at who cut the best, I want it as my top. Okay. So I'm thinking this one here is the one I've cut the best. Okay. So we need this flower. I'm going to cut these two leaves as one layer, the rest of the plant as another layer, and the back as another layer. I'll then also cut this leaf here as a layer. Right, so for starters, we'll cut out, you've got your knife, but I also want, I'm going to cut out this bit. Yes, it's fussy cutting. Where's my friend Amanda? She hates fussy cutting. But I'm going to cut my flower out as one of my layers. My knife I'm going to use for the fiddly bits on the inside, just because I can. So I'm looking at this thinking, what else do I want to cut out? So I'll cut that bit off because I can use those bits for the flower as well. Okay, so, and you do this before you colour. And the reason why you do this before you colour is just because then if you stuff it up, then you haven't wasted any of your colouring. Now, the other thing that we will have to do is we're going to go all the way around and cut off that little white bit that's around our outer edge of our, because when we get that little white strip around our die. And depending on what you want to do, depends on how many layers you want to add. All right. Yeah, I love fussy cutting. Pauline, I'm quite happy to sit in front of the telly and fussy cut. I'm quite happy to sit and fussy cut. It does take a little bit sometimes, but it really loves it. It really is good. It's quite therapeutic. So that's a layer. Then on here, I'm thinking that we're going to have a plant that's, I could do 1, 2, 3, 4 layers here, but I'm not going to. I'm only going to do 2. So I'm going to cut this one out like so. And this is where it's important to have a really good pair of scissors. So there's 2 layers on that. That bit becomes rubbish. Okay, and then this one here is essentially going to be our top layer. So with this one here, I want this leaf or petal. It's the petal, isn't it? I'm going to use my knife for this. So we've got, oh, it's nice and sharp. Heads up. because the scissors weren't going to get in there properly. All right. They're a bit more, the knife is a lot more of a, has a lot more precision in it. Yeah, I can use that one as well. All right. And there's that. And on this one, I think I need this. Yeah, okay. I need this one here. This one in here. And this one here. And this one here. But by doing that, I have a sneaking suspicion that I could probably get away with cutting this one here off for this. Need my knife. You've got to hold your tongue so perfectly still. Just be careful, it is sharp. Okay. Okay, so we've got this layer here, then this layer here, and this layer here. Now, I believe that one's going to go under there, and then this one here. Okay, looking good. All right, so that is where I want it to land on my card. So if I wanted to, I could actually have it so that I didn't have the image on there, but I needed to know where it's going to land. So you can pop that piece at the back, which is what I will be doing because that looks rather nice. All right, cool. So I need to pop my sentiment on, which is somewhere on my table. I'm going to stamp it in. I think I'll keep with the theme. I'll go with the mossy meadow for stamping that on there. Okay. Now, just because this is the first time I've used this stamp set, so I'm just going to see how straight it is. And it's as crooked as a dog's hind leg, so I need to make sure okay. Probably should go on a punch. Thank you for being you. Cross everything that is straight. Bit dodgy, but straight. So that's something. To me, it's too dodgy. Not a fan. I'll get a new inside. I'm going to do it again. So by lining up my stamp, I know that I've got to kick it a little bit up, not too far. That's much better. Okay. And I am going to stamp another one of these on here, even though I don't need it, because now I know that I don't need it, but all right, there is a method in my madness. Okay, so this is going to sit on here. This is going to sit on here, like so. And I've still got a couple of leaves sticking out from underneath, so they need to be coloured. Okay. So I very basically got only a few colours that I brought in. I've got this one here is Smoky Slate. I've got the dark and the light version. The reason why I brought that over is because I wanted to, in case I felt like adding a bit more grey to it, but I've also bought my Mossy Meadow and my Daffodil Delight. I also bought the colour lifter over, okay, just so that I can push some extra colour down the back. I don't need this piece. Have I got all the other pieces that I need? Yep, okay. So with my leaves, these leaves are going to be at the back, so they need to be quite dark because they're at the back. Actually want to use the other end. And because the stamp has already got, it's already got highlights as to where it should be dark on it, you can actually just follow that. So I'm just putting a bit of the dark Mossy Meadow on it, where the stamp says that it's already quite dark. That ends very How's Your Father? So I'll come in with this end. And the reason why I'm colouring that one is because I need it to, in case I'm showing it off, which I will be. And I think I need a new set of these. Actually, this will make that decision for me, I reckon. Okay, I love the squeak they make. All right, so I need to push out all the bits out of this. All right, with let's build our flower up. Okay, so I bought the dark in because I don't think I'm going to need the dark daff. The one that's going to be in the center is actually going to be this one. So the others don't really need color, but just in case they get a little bit seen, I am going to put a little bit of color on that one. I'll pop a little bit of light into move it out. Okay, so I'm just moving it out a little bit out along that flower a bit. Okay. Just add a little bit where the shadow is essentially where I'm putting it. Okay, on this one here. So I've coloured in these leaves here. So this one here is one that needs a little bit of colour on it, especially in that down area down there. Okay, close to where its insides are, where its stamen and all its pollen and everything hangs out. So these are alcohol markers. I am only using the light one at the moment. They blend. They're called Stampin' Blends. and it's because the actual color blend, we use them to blend the color. So this one here hasn't got any color on it yet. And I think that's the last one that I've got on there. All right. Now with the little flower, there's no inside on that one, but they can usually be quite yellow before they open right up. Well, this one is in particular because I've decided it's going to be anyway. All right. Okay, and then we need to do our leaves. Now this end has been giving me a bit of grief. I've broken my pen, my marker, so the end keeps coming out. All right, I'm just going to put, it's another reason why I need a new one, like not because I need much excuse, let me tell you. Okay. And we'll go down here a bit. Don't have to, when I'm putting my dark on, I'm not usually particularly very neat because I'm going to blend it together. This is such a pretty set. Does anyone remember the previous Magnolia one that we had that had a really pretty Magnolia as well? I liked doing this same sort of technique with it too. Okay. And bringing in my light, pushing that ink around in there a bit. Okay. And this is the best bit about using this light grey as our base to stamp, because we can colour it with it, and although we can still see it, it sort of blends in with our colouring quite a lot, so it doesn't take over, whereas black you end up with quite a significant black outline, which looks great, but it's just a completely different look again. You can actually see the stamp lines through the bases, through this marker. Okay. Right. And that's another flower that we've got happening here. And they've got a little bit of lightness to their tip. So I put a bit of green on the end. Now I'm pushing it through so that it's even lighter. Okay. All right. So when we layer up this baby, one of the things that we can do using our mat before we actually put it all together is we can give it some shape. So you've got your bone folder, right? And you can actually push your paper around a bit. You do have to be initially gentle to give our paper some shape. Okay. It means that we can then curl some leaves, but it also means that we can take that dimensional looking to the next level. So I'll just pop some lines in here. Okay. Just give these leaves a bit of a curl inwards. Now we're going to do it more so on these bits. We're just softening the paper a little bit, just giving a bit of a curl. And it's adding extra texture. Okay. And then we've got this one here. All right. So I've pushed this out a bit. I could have really used another layer here, but I'll just use some shaping to my advantage. Okay, so if you wanted to put some more edging around the outer edge, you can use your blending brush just to give these edges a bit more definition. You could also run your marker along the edge, just provides a bit of extra shadow, takes off that white edge, for want of a better way of putting it. It gives it more of an outline. But what we want to do is when you're adding it up, when you're sticking it up, you want to make sure that you line it up relatively well. Now, you all know that we've got Stampin' Up! Dimensionals. We've got our regular size ones. That's these ones here. Oops. These ones here. But we've also got our minis. And take the fuzzy away. Try again. Okay. And we've got minis. Okay. So I'm going to take this blade off before I chop myself with it. There is a lid somewhere on my table. All right, put the lid on it. Okay. With the minis, these are going to be your friends for this project. All right. Because they fit so beautifully under things. Okay. Now, one thing that you don't have to do is I'm not going to put adhesive. I'm not going to put a dimensional under here. I'm actually going to put, you can put a glue dot. Actually, glue dot would be so much better. But they're not on the table. You can put a dot of glue. And the reason why I'm putting a dot of glue there is because I don't necessarily want the whole lot of it to stick up. So I want that bit there relatively flat. So what I've done is, I'm not sure how well you can see that. So I've got the dimensionals under that part, but that bit there is flat. Okay, so it just adds a little bit of an extra layer as such. This is then going to go onto here, and again, I'm not going to add a dimensional under here. I'm going to put a bit of glue on that because I'm going to flatten that bit out. So this bit here is going to get glue. Whoops. It's going to get a bubble of glue. And then I can go back to my bigger dimensionals here. Put one up there, one up there. But I'm going to need to come back to my minis for these little twiggy bits here. Actually, that one's not even going to fit on that one. So it even needs half a mini. So let's see. We'll just do no, it needs half a mini. My gosh. That's smaller than my dog's tablets. Half a mini. Just up here on that point. Okay. Come on, off you come. And this one. And then this is going to get pressed onto here with all those bits up there raised. Okay. And can you see the layers of my flower building? It looks pretty smick. All right. So then we've got this little one. Again, I'll just give it a bit of a rub under here. And I'll stick a mini up the top of it. These are so much easier with your take your pick tool. And I'm also going to put I'll put some glue down the bottom to secure it as well, just so that it sits flat against that bottom piece. Okay. Come to Courtney. That's that bit. And then we'll do the same with this one. Okay. Hopefully I didn't put that mini up there too close. Whoops. So it makes them stick out at the top rather than at the bottom. I'm just giving them a bit of a squeeze here. Okay, so for my inside piece, I'll just decorate it. Actually, it looks quite nice on that too, doesn't it? You could get away with it quite nicely on it, but we've already got this piece. So this is going to go straight on here. Thank you for being here. It's such a pretty sentiment. My inside piece, I'm just going to stamp, there's a bud one, this one, or some leaves. I'll just stamp those on the inside, and that will be all sweet. And I'll just do that. Now, I always like to have a bit of fibre. So how am I going to add some fibre to this one? I can hear you saying. I've got the Baker's Twine Essentials pack. I've been using heaps and heaps of it. I absolutely love it. Just getting some extra bits out of here. So what I'm going to do, I've got to decide which way I want to do that. Okay, like so. I need to colour that one in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, with my Baker's Twine Essentials pack, I will actually roll a little bit up. I've been using heaps of it. Now, did you know that you can colour it? I haven't got much of the white left, but I've got some of the... So using my... Oh, there's a person at my front door. Using my Stampin' Blends, you can actually add colour to the Baker's Twine. Now, the reason why I use my alcohol markers is because they dry so much faster than the other one. All right. And you can essentially make twine any colour that you want. So I could have even done it yellow. But because I'm doing the dark colour, I can do it on the light. It does make for a messy table. And you do need to use the brush end. Okay. So where's that? Just chop that piece off. Okay, put this back on here. All right. So we're going to pop that on there like so. Do I want the twine on first or do I want the twine on second? Might put the twine on first. Now, to put the twine on, somewhere on my table here is a bit of tape. Okay. So I've literally just stuck a bit of tape in the middle. I've just got to work out where I want my twine to sit. Up there. Because that'll hold my twine. That tape will hold my twine down. All right. Oops. Okay. Yep, like so. Okay. Just pop some glue on the back of here. There's some bits that are fairly solid, but your glue is going to leak out them. So I'm going to try and put them where I know that they will be covered with my other image. I'm just bringing it down to that edge there. Okay. And because this has got numerous layers already, I'm going to make the executive decision that I want to I'm going to glue it on rather than put it on with dimensionals. So I will have to put quite a bit. I normally say my favorite words on here, and everyone will attest to this, is less is best, okay, with this glue. However, in this case, less is not best, and I might need a little bit extra. So I'm just holding it down. Now, if you have some bling, you can put some bling. If you wanted to, you could put an extra mat, but I made the decision early that it didn't need it. The other thing that you can do is you could emboss that piece. But there is my card. I've got another leaf here. I don't have another inside, so I won't show you what I'm going to do on the inside, but essentially I'm going to stamp the inside with a leaf, with the leaves, so that down the side, and I'll do the same with my envelope. Actually, I can do the envelope. This is a really pretty leaf. Look at this. It's just a skeleton of a leaf. Okay. I mean, I don't think I need it. Really, I don't need it, but could put it up there. No, don't do that, Court. Taking too much. So with my envelope, which is hanging out somewhere over here on the table, I'm actually just going to stamp this one. Make sure it's up the right way. Same color again. And I'll do this on my inside too when I get another inside piece. And on the back. just make sure that you go in all different directions. So it looks like the pattern is scattered, a bit like our designer series paper would be. Okay. To get some of it along these edges. So this is one of the stamp and die bundles that's on special. They're reduced by an extra further 10% off the special price, because stamp and die bundles are always usually on special anyway for the 10% off. All right. Looks good, doesn't it? Okay. If you're going to colour your envelope, my suggestion is that you use your light ones and you press really lightly when you're colouring them, or you pop a piece of paper inside the card so that it doesn't go through inside the envelope, so that it doesn't go through, because let me tell you, it goes through so easily that it's not funny. Just put a little bit of highlights. Okay, and that there. Now I'm gonna, that's the light one. I didn't like that it wasn't on the edge. So there is one card and one, thanks Pauline, one card and one envelope. Whoops, with a bit of shadow. So let me just go back to me. What do you think? That is the Magnolia Mood Bundle. So it's a stamp and die bundle, currently an extra 10% off. The cut and emboss machine's 10% off for the month of June. So if you want to double dip and you want to add them to your cart, you can, but you can also double dip by adding them to a kit, and then you get the 10% off extra as well. So it brings them into a really affordable price. Thanks, Chris. Oh, hi, Lisa. Did you say hi before and I missed you? Anyway, so there's lots of great things that are on special at the moment. I've got some things on my hit list that I went, oh, I really would like them, but they've become so much more appealing now with the stamp and die bundles being on special. This one's from the online exclusives. Those people that are already demonstrators, you will notice that there's pre-order for the releases for next month. It includes the glass mat. The glass mat is coming back for customers. It won't be available to customers until the 5th of July, but demonstrators can get it now. It can also be added to the kit. The new stamp and die bundles that are coming are not reduced. So just keep that in mind. And if you do put in a big enough order that you get an item half price, you want to put something that's not reduced in that half price section, because there's a bit of a gremlin in the system and it's charging it at the original 10% off price rather than the new extra 10% off price. So that's just for the demonstrators. For customers, add to your cart, get your savings, and happy stamping, everybody. So yes, it is a lot of work, and I think Leonie will really like it. What do you reckon? Yeah, Cheryl, you'll just have to jump in on the team swap next time. We are going to be doing it. We're doing it again. It's been quite popular. We do lots of things together as a team. Our team leader, Linda, runs weekly videos for us. She also does lives. There's lots of things. There's lots of advantages to being on the team, as all of these ladies will attest to. All right. Toodaloo for now. I'm going to say hurrah, and I'll see you later, because that went way longer than we expected.